my messy masterpiece. Oh, the days are gone behind me, but this messy piece of art is always in my heart.
Welcome to Off Script with Lucie Jones. I'm Lucie Jones. If you were dragged here against your will, I'm a musical theatre performer, and I like to chat to people. So this podcast was born out of me literally every time I work with anyone that I admire in any way. I will sit down next to them and be like, well, how did that come about? And where did you get that from? And do you have a slight accent there? And what did your auntie's dog do? And like, I'm literally like, I want to know everything. So that's sort of where this came about. And the guest that we have on this evening's podcast is one of those people that actually, when I first met him, I thought I already knew him. And apparently that's because we were Facebook friends. Don't know how that happened. But I went, hello, mate, how are you? And he was like, I actually don't think we've ever met before. Thus began the beginning, well, a wonderful friendship. We have worked together many times, and I've been a fan of this man's work that he has written, performed, and just generally he is one of my favourite people on the planet. And you get to look at him for the next 45 minutes or so and listen to his wonderful stories. So without further ado, let's bring on the man, the myth, the legend, the writer of this podcast theme tune, Mr. David Hunter! Woo! Yeah! Get in here! Welcome!
Bloody hell, she shines.
Hey!
Let's get that up.
Hey, height gags.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
It's so good.
Yeah. Well, welcome, Dave. Welcome to Off Script with Lucie Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so just before we talk about you, let's talk about the fact that I sent you a voice note at one point and said, hi, Dave, I'm doing a podcast and I need a theme tune. I'd like you to write it. And I would like the theme tune to be sort of short and silly and reference the fact that I've asked you to write me a theme tune. And you must have literally listened to that voice note and gone, well, I'm just going to use those exact words.
Is this you claiming to have written the theme tune?
Absolutely, yes. It was all my idea. Alongside this incredible musical theatre and TV career that you are... Babe,
Did you see that episode of Holby?
Doctors as well. Come on.
2 episodes
Come
of
on.
Doctors, actually. But yeah, they were stage and screen.
We're
guys.
getting there, babe. We're getting there.
We're getting there. We're on the road.
But you also have like this, one of the things that I want to talk to you about, and I think people will find really fascinating. I don't know how much people know how much you actually do. Like you do so much stuff. Dave has a whole other side of his business where we all know him as a content creator. We love his Instagram. We do.
I want to meet this guy that you're talking about.
I know.
Sounds really good.
I actually make him sound a bit more polished, don't I? He's a content creator. No, he just dicks about on Instagram. But you design merchandise. You're a designer. You're an artist.
It's funny, isn't it? We don't know what we consider ourselves, but I absolutely am a creative. Like I want to make stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How much talent I've got in each of those areas is up for debate, sadly. But I love doing it. Do you know what I mean?
I think you're brilliant at it. And I'm not just saying this because you're my mate and you wrote me a theme song and I didn't pay you. You're constantly churning stuff out and it's all good. Like, we wrote a book. Well, you wrote the book. I just kept all the stuff to put in the book. Dave and I did Waitress, the musical, together. Did anyone see Waitress? When in Waitress, Jenna gets given a doctor's note from Dr. Pomater, played by lovely Dave, and he sort of does this whole like, oh, I can't catch it, it's flying around in the air thing. And on my very first show, you drew a picture on it, didn't you? There was a little man holding a banner that said, welcome. And I was like, well, that's cute. So I kept it and I put it up on my mirror. And then it just became a thing, didn't it? So
well, then it became, I've got to do one of these
what
every
am I going
day.
to do today? But it was really funny because they became topical. Like there's really funny ones like Bon Voyage if someone was going on holiday or you actually were contracted for a shorter amount of time than I was due to be there for. Yeah. And I didn't know if Dave had decided to leave the show or stay on. And I was
We never spoke off stage.
No, we No, you chose to tell me in this way, which I think is really sweet. He drew me a picture saying, I'm staying. And I saw it on stage and I welled up. And I thought, God, this is not a moment where I should be crying. The rest of the show is for crying. This is supposed to be like, who's this weird doctor? And I'm there like, oh my God, he's staying. So anyway, I collected all of these things over the whole time we were in the show. And then lockdown came. and we decided to put them into a book. And you did it. You did the thing.
Yeah, we did the thing.
It's just amazing.
And then I put them all in boxes and posted the things. That was the hard bit. Do you remember that?
Oh my gosh.
Because we got loads of orders because we're dead successful and our stock's really high. Liz. And we just got loads of orders, and I got a little overwhelmed by it. In truth, I was
so slightly.
It was all. I got to hire my mum. She came, and we literally days and days and days of putting the right book with the right T-shirt with the right doodle I'd done in the right box with the right address and sending it off. I did have to remind people occasionally that I am not Amazon.
Yeah.
Like people would be like, "Where's my box?" And I'd be like, "Listen, I'm packing it.
I just sent it."
Yeah. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard.
Yeah, definitely. But my point being, we decided to do this thing, and a lot of us will do this. We'll have an idea, we'll start doing the thing, and then the thing never gets completed. But with you, it always really does. I will hark back to another moment of today where we were backstage with Ruthie Henschel, and I said, "Did you know that Dave is also an artist?" And I showed her the video of the Farm song. Cute David, like, cringing for his life in the corner. The Farm song is a brilliant, like, pop tune that Dave wrote years ago. And then he created a visual, like a video to go with it, backstage at Waitress. And he drew, it was like a sort of see-through paper, wasn't it, with a picture of you on it that you'd drawn. And then things came in and out of it.
It sounds so rubbish, doesn't it, when you explain it?
Can you find a better way of explaining it, though? You must have had to explain it before.
Yeah, it was just a load of madness on acetate. It was, I just kind of drew my face, and then I brought in things that related to the song, different drawings I'd done. And, you know, I don't know, a few people watched it. I think
people love it.
Well,
I've been at your gigs and people are screaming it out and requesting it.
Ruthie Henschel watched it. She loved it.
She did.
Yeah. But no, but I think, as we all know, you pour a lot of heart and soul into these things, and some of them are really satisfying. The book was one of them where I felt like the response to it was monstrous. And although it meant me packing all those things up, it was so satisfying to be like, this idea from your head that we played around with and made and created and poured over, and how's that going to be phrased, and how's it going to look, and which picture goes where, and people got it and bought it and loved it, and that's wonderful. And I've many things I've tried and done that I feel like didn't find their place in the same way, or did in a very small way, and that's lovely too. But the Farm song's perhaps one of them. I mean, it's my most played song. People did love it, but even then I'm like, well, I'm not on top of the pops. Still. Yet. Is it coming back?
Maybe it'll come back, yeah. Apparently it's the 90s.
What a shock that would be if they brought back Top of the Pops.
I mean,
and then put me on first. You'd be like,
there's a hole in my pocket. With the video on in the background.
From 5 years ago. It's me.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Let's
you're from Warrington.
I'm from Warrington.
And you grew up with, other people from Warrington, of course.
Loads of them. There was bloody loads of them. There's one point in my town where I felt, all I see is people from Warrington. Drove me mad. Then I went to Burnley, and you wouldn't believe it, Luce. Everyone there lived in Burnley.
You did once sing with a singing troupe from the fire department.
Jesus!
Yeah.
Your research has gone, where on earth? Yeah, we used to sing with Smoke Busters.
Was that the name?
Yeah, it was about as cool as it sounds. But what we used to do, we used to go to like little fairs and stuff. I'm so glad I'm talking about Smoke Busters. We used to go to little fairs and stuff, and there'd be like a chip pan demonstration unit where they'd like we all had chip pans. Do you know what I mean? How old is this? And they used to pour a bit of water onto like an oil fire, and it'd like explode. You don't know this now because chip pans aren't a thing. But it's
like a safety demonstration.
It was like, don't put water in a chip pan. Anyone here who's got the chip pan still fired up from 1993, don't put some water on it. You'll regret it. It'll engulf your kitchen. It was very, very dangerous. We were effectively the warm-up act for the chip pan demonstration unit, because we'd lure the crowds over so they could see the headline of the fire. Do you know what I mean? And now, all the way from hell, it's the fire.
And then you guys are like, we started the fire.
We never did that one.
No, what did you sing?
We were more anti-fire than...
Right, okay. We put out the fire.
We sang Help by the Beatles, you know.
Help.
Yeah.
Got a fire. Help.
Sure. We sang...
Chip and fire.
And then we did I Need a Hero.
Yes, this is brilliant.
Then obviously you start to run out of out of songs that even vaguely link. So we started doing Keep On Moving by Five. Because if you're ever in a fire, just get down under the smoke and just keep on moving.
Brilliant. When I found this tiny nugget of information, I really didn't think it would bring this joy.
It was probably one of the happiest times of my life. I loved it. And so I look back at so much stuff I did as a kid. When you're discovering the arts, it's so wonderful. And I actually, if I ever speak to kind of young people now, I try not to. They're difficult.
Yeah.
But if I ever speak to, aspiring actors who are so much more savvy than I was, Jesus.
Then we are.
That's it. Yeah. They know everything.
I know, it's terrifying.
And they'll ask questions, whatever. But I always kind of try and instill in them that the way all we're doing is trying to recapture the thing they've got, which is that kind of gazing at a potential journey in front of them and thinking, wow, imagine if I could do that, and kind of, singing at home in the mirror or on a school play or sixth form talent evening, which you've probably got research on. And we just want that feeling back. And often we have to just do a job. And just occasionally, the show is right and the person you're acting with is right. And the audience get it, and the music plays, and the band are on it, and there's something in the air, and you go, it's happening. Mm-hmm. It's happening.
I'm back in my Amdram.
Yeah. That's the feeling. And actually, we don't get it that often, and they get it quite a lot more because it's all so scary and exciting and thrilling.
Yeah.
Singing before a chip pan. There's nothing like it.
I mean, who knew? Did you do Amdram as well?
No, not really. I just did like summer schools. Do you know what I mean? Local theatre, but no, I didn't do a lot of that really.
And
a lot of people weren't.
Was it about the singing for you then from an early age, or was it about acting and you just kept it to your?
It was about being in love with
the girls. Yeah.
Yeah, Cheryl Sanson, if you're listening to this, I'm married. You missed out. You had your chance and you blew it. But yeah, no, I went along with my sister to some drama classes and fell in love with someone, and so went back again, and we never got together, me and Cheryl.
Well, thank God for Cheryl anyway. I think I speak for all of us when we say, well done, Cheryl, for keeping you going there.
Oh, I see. I thought you might have been binning me off.
No, babe.
I mean? Oh, well done, Cheryl.
No, for getting
fine choice.
For getting you involved in the first place.
No, thank you, Cheryl. And who else was there? Mainly Cheryl.
Mainly
and then Sophie Kinsella. Yeah, you know Sophie.
Sophie Kinsella is a chick lit author. Very successful one.
What? Has she got money? I believe this. Blew it.
Poor show.
But no, you fall in love, don't you, when you're 13? Mm-hmm. And I never spoke to any of these women, just to be clear.
Yeah,
they don't know who I am.
What were you like as a 13-year-old?
Shy.
Yeah.
Very. I am an introvert entirely. I don't like people. They're all just watching.
No, it's fine.
Is that the plan?
Don't worry about them.
But no, I was a very shy kid, and actually I found myself and my confidence in the arts and in writing songs and being good at it and doing drama, and people going, wow, you're great at this. And I really found myself. And so I say it now to people who talk about arts in education. It's so important and it's so vital. I wouldn't, regardless of becoming an actor, which is really secondary to becoming a nice person, isn't
Absolutely.
it? And becoming someone with some level of confidence. And I simply wouldn't be the human I am had I not been encouraged to stand up in front of people and show who I am, and then have people say, I like who you are, and me go, I'll keep being it then.
Yeah, so lovely.
It's vital. And I just think, whatever you're doing your best man speech or a job interview or whatever, if it's just been normalized within you to stand before people and go, here I am and this is what I'm about, it sets you up so well.
You're really good at that as well. You're very good at showing people exactly who you are. You're an open book, and you're very sort of warm.
As are you.
Oh, thanks, mate.
I think it's why we get on.
Maybe.
I think it's why we have good chemistry. Chemistry.
Mm.
Because I've always said to people, because they kind of, chemistry with people, and obviously I played lots of romantic leads, and you played a lot of romantic leads, and we've done one together. You go, this is chemistry. And it's not a magic trick. I don't believe in chemistry. It's only two people who invest in one another and go, I like you. You know, I like what you're doing. And the thing is about being on stage with Lucie, and when we have been on stage, you know, I adore you. I think you're brilliant. I absolutely have your back. And I know you adore me and think I'm brilliant and have my back. And so that is chemistry as far as I'm concerned.
It's respect as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's giving that space for your thing to happen. Even if there's a thing that I think I could put in there, it's like, no, that's so good. And that understanding of each other and moving around each other is such a nice thing. Allowing
each other to shine and even just holding that up. I mean, I love doing that. It's so easy with you because you're shiny anyway, but just to be like, what a lovely feeling to like toss a ball up and have them knock it out of the park.
Absolutely.
It's joyous.
It's so nice.
It's an underrated skill, I suppose, because you have to do it. And I've played a lot of parts, Kinky Boots being one that's, you know, you throw it up to Lola and she knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be. But you have to do a lot of the kind of mechanics behind
Yeah, you
that.
do a lot of the legwork.
Yeah.
I think, and I will say this, and it's a sweeping statement, but I've not experienced that level of the elusive chemistry with anyone else on stage as I have with you. And I genuinely mean that. I love working with you, and it's why we've done all these other things together, because we crave working together, because we just like doing it. And it's so fun and easy, and we don't like fall out or like, it's just so nice. Anyway, should we stop loving each other and talk about
Well, this brings us though. I think we should say it that like at the minute we're auditioning for a thing which we can't tell you about, and we have to do a chemistry test.
We are literally doing a chemistry read together.
We have to go into a room together and be like, do you think they'll get on?
They can get on, yeah.
I'm like, what? With Lucie? Okay.
Oh, God.
Do you want to just come to the podcast and see?
But yeah, it's a wonderful thing when you find it, and when it's not there, it's really difficult. And and it has to be said, we won't go into it, but both of us have experienced that.
Yeah.
It's not nice.
No, if you're not on the same page with someone, it's hard work, and you're second guessing yourself. And if you're ever on stage with someone as well, you think, I don't know if this person likes what I do. And if you can't be honest with that person and get to the nitty gritty, because that's the thing, you need to be able to get on enough off stage, don't you, to have those conversations, and for someone to be open enough to say, I love what you're doing in that. It's brilliant. So that next time you're on stage, you're going, he loves what I'm doing in that. I'm brilliant. And that's a good thing
and
to
therefore you play and you find the little magical bits in between.
Yeah.
But it can be really difficult. Have you... I know the answer to this question, but have you ever come across someone that you've had to work with that you've sort of thought, this is going to be really hard for me, and you really have to talk yourself through it? And how do you do that as Dave?
There's been a job where I've had to work incredibly hard to make it work. And it was exhausting. I coached myself through it every day, and I knew before we started it would be hard. And I was like, "It's going to be really hard. How am I going to do this?" And it was every day I came into work like off stage, and kind of like, "How am I going to make this fizz tonight? I don't think it will." You know, it was really tough. It was like adding another job onto your job.
Yeah.
And actually, a job like Waitress, God, it was just a breeze.
And we all got on well.
Yeah.
It wasn't just you and I that were having a lovely time. It was a really lovely building. What I will say is, in that particular situation, an audience would never in a million years, Dave, have seen an ounce of what you may have been feeling that day.
And that's the work, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah.
That's what that you work. It's just. And I suppose, and again, it's similar for when you're singing in general or whatever. Is that on the days you don't feel great, your job is to deliver the same thing to an audience, and what they don't see is just that you're having to work that much harder to hit it.
To really pump that iron that day to get there. And I think what's lovely for you and I like is that we both have actual lives outside of the industry that are quite different. You go home and you have a wife and 2 children. You have a stagecoach that you run.
I mean, the other day, right?
Business.
I got off the stage. We're doing If Then in West End at the Savoy, and then on the train home, I was answering emails to parents about like why has no one replied to me about my 2-week trial? And I'm like, sorry, mate, I was doing a West End show, but no biggie. But yeah, I'm incredibly. I remain incredibly grounded in whatever I'm doing, because children in particular will ground you because they don't care. In fact, I was telling my son Rufus about a job I'm up for recently, and he said, and he went, well, I just think that's incredibly selfish. When will I see you? Sort of thing. I was like,
But
sorry,
this
mate.
is a difficulty, and it is something that I wanted to talk to you particularly about, because we do have very sort of open, honest dialogue between us.
Yeah, but not with them.
But we're doing
I
it.
can't say all that
We're
stuff to
doing
them.
it.
They
We're
can't know
going
about
in.
my rash.
I think women get asked a lot more than men. Well, I actually don't know if you've ever been asked about what it's like to be a dad and continue to work in the West End. Have you?
No, not often, though. No. You're right, though. It is. It's a... In positive and negative ways, it's a strange thing, isn't it, when you have children where it's assumed that the mum will stay at home. And they're questioning about when they go back to work. Whereas for men, we go back to work, and it's it's never kind of questioned like, oh, are you sure you're ready? And I don't mean that, and that's not to say, oh, I've had that tough. I just mean in terms of my wife.
Yeah,
when
being
she
at
was,
home with
she
a
was,
small child.
yeah, and she wasn't. You know, there was just people ask very different questions. It's interesting, isn't it? The kind of assumptions of what you should do as a parent. And me and Tara have been very flexible, I think, and it's shifted and changed, and it's going through a big change in a minute. But originally, you know, I started Kinky Boots when Rufus was 8 weeks old. And so
Did you start rehearsals or the show when he was 8 weeks
rehearsals
old?
when he was 8 weeks old?
So you had 8 weeks just by accident,
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
Had you already been in a show? How does it work for a dad with paternity?
Well, I had my second child whilst I was in Kinky Boots. I was there for 2 years. So Rufus was born. I started Kinky Boots. Tara got pregnant. Heidi was born. She was 3 weeks old, and I left Kinky Boots. That was the 2 years. And so for Heidi, they said they'd give me a week off paid, and then I could have another week off, but they wouldn't pay me. I was like, that's very kind of you. Thank you for this unpaid leave.
And I mean, we're making a joke about it here, but it is actually astonishing.
Yeah, it's mad, really. Me and Tara made the choice of like, well, I'll go back in that second week because I'm leaving in 2 or 3 weeks anyway. So let's go and get the money and then leave, and I'll be off, and it'll be hard. But let's leave. But it is a strange juggle. And actually, so the first years are hard because obviously I was with Rue and Heidi all day, particularly Rue. And he decided he wasn't going to sleep. Why sleep? Rubbish, innit?
Yeah.
But I was with him all day, and then I'd go to work. So I was exhausted, but he got an awful lot of me. Mm-hmm. And I was, struggling with being a dad in general, to be honest. I found it very hard, and a strange shift in life. But the most recent thing when I did Time Traveller's Wife was the first show I'd done where they were both at school. And I didn't see them. I was off all day and they were at school, and I'd pick them up 3:30 and I'd leave for work at 4:15. So I was seeing them for about 45 minutes, and it doesn't work. And I don't think there's an answer to it, in truth, if you are someone with children who wants to see your children. Maybe if you like avoiding your children, as we all do at times, it works quite well. And I'm sure there'll be a point in their lives where they don't need or want me around quite so much as they do at the minute. But as I say, Rufus considers me being employed incredibly inconvenienced.
Yeah, very selfish.
Very selfish of me. Which it isn't. I mean, I'm very much in a strange place. I've basically said I can't do another show. Like, I'm out. I can't do it. So I'm doing little bits and bobs or short runs of things, maybe, or whatever, or some different things. But it doesn't work. And the idea of these job shares, they don't really exist, do they? Like, me and Ollie Thompson aren't going to be like, well, do you want us both? We'll do half a week each. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to want that because it's going to cost them more money. They have to rehearse us both. They have to pay us both.
Yeah,
even
but
if it's
they
less,
should.
They should.
You guys are the best. So
I mean, we'd have a lovely time.
Oh, God.
Ollie, if you're listening, can you imagine if you just said yes? Ollie? Yes?
Yeah, I've actually been here all day waiting for you to bring this up.
Yeah. Thank God someone said something. But yeah, I could easily do, let me do the 4 days a week, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But it's the 6 days a week and the 8 shows a week that kills it.
I just want to talk a little bit about your actual career and the things that you have done. Yeah. Because yes, we know and love you as a musical theatre performer, but you are also a rock god. A rock god. A rock god. You are.
A rock god?
Rima, babe. Come on. Let's talk about Rima. Dave was in a band called Rima.
All right. My fan's in.
Woohoo.
Rima's fan is
Hello,
here,
Mum.
everyone. It's a big deal. I'm a fan of you.
And you toured with McFly.
Yeah. Listen, we did do some amazing things. It was an incredible time of life. And again, it hit that lovely sweet spot for me of being kind of recognised, but without being famous, because I want to be able to go to Tesco and buy milk without being harassed. I don't want that Lucie Jones kind of fame. Oh, do you know what I mean?
Honestly, it's exhausting.
I can imagine. You can't nip to Lidl anymore without being harassed down the middle aisle. But we got to experience this amazing thing. You know, we lived on Tom Jones's old tour bus. Tellies in every bunk and little windows and... windows. Everyone loves windows. Can you even imagine, guys, if you ever live on a tour bus, there's these
dizzy
things,
heights.
there's these like see-through like portals into another world called windows. But we rock up to, you know, we started at Sheffield Arena, I think, and we played just before McFly, and McFly being McFly, all their fans came from the get-go. We played to 10, 15, 20,000 people, depending on the arena, went in our bus, closed my little curtains, which come with the window. And then we drive off, and then I'd open my little curtains, which come with the window. And there's Newcastle Arena just waiting for us. And it feels like you've not travelled an inch. You've lived on tour buses, I imagine. Yeah. Gorgeous way to travel the country.
Yeah.
Because you just don't even really. You can be in the back playing FIFA if you want. It's up to you guys.
You have to pack and move every day from a hotel.
It's just
it's
brilliant.
Great.
And then, there's Newcastle Arena, and you get out, and there's another 20,000 people waiting for you. Great. Get back in the boat, and off you go.
It's just wild to me that you've lived these like separate lives of going out in arenas and singing songs that you've written with your band that you grew up like playing.
Yeah.
And then you've had this whole other arc of your career that is musical theatre, and then you've got all the other stuff as well. It's just amazing to me that in any sliding doors moment, your life could have taken such different tracks.
Yeah, big time.
And I feel like, and I really mean this, I feel like you would have been wildly successful in whatever you did, because I think it's just in you.
Do you think I'm wildly successful, though?
Yes.
Do you?
Yeah.
Does anyone ever... Do you feel wildly successful?
Oh, God, no. Absolutely
Well, how's that? Isn't that mad, though? Do you know what I mean? Isn't that weird? Like, it's weird we can look at each other and go, you are... I mean, Lucie...
No.
You are wildly successful. I'll give you that badge now.
I hate it's made me want to peel my eyelashes off. But you're so successful, and you're brilliant at all the different things that you do. So it's just crazy to me that at any point somebody could have come to you and said, oh, by the way, this is the way that your life is going to go. And you could have had McFly supporting you. First time I saw McFly, they were supporting Busted.
Yeah.
And then Busted supported McFly, and now they're McBusted.
Yeah,
and he's also Dr. Pomater 2.0. So
I know he's coming for my jobs now, isn't it? This is the problem.
Really is.
This is where it gets difficult.
Yeah.
It's like no, whoa. You got to be in Busted. You need to move along.
Muddying the waters here.
I remember doing that when we went to when we did Superstar. Were you there?
No.
Don't remember that. Yeah.
No.
You'd be a great Jesus.
Thank you.
You would be a good Jesus.
Give it time, my friend. We're opening doors. I'm just kidding.
That's it. But I remember seeing people at that audition who like had West End leads, and I was like, whoa, you can't be here.
Yeah.
I'm here to be where you are. Get gone.
Yeah, give me a chance, man.
Give me a chance, man.
Give the underdog a chance.
Always go American when I need a chance.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean?
And
give me a
bit
chance,
whiny.
Man.
Give me a chance.
Well, you wouldn't hit a guy with glasses. I'm sorry, Lucie Jones can't get to the podcast right now. Please leave a message after the beep. Hello, this is Ollie Tomset. I've heard about the job share, and I'm keen. Hi, this is Matt from Busted. I've heard about all the jobs Dave's not doing anymore. I'll do them.
I'll take them. Yeah.
Hi, this is Duncan from Blue. I'm in as well.
Oh, God.
Get lost, Duncan.
Hi, this is Ronan Keating. I'm here to
Ronan Keating, there's a one. He did steal my job. Ronan bloody Keating.
Okay, let's get back on track here.
Yeah, let's. The thing about Ronan Keating... Boyzone isn't enough, Ronan. Sorry, solo career ain't enough.
Okay, all right.
Hit
we like
song
Ronan.
from Notting Hill isn't enough. Singing with Lucie Jones at Magic of the Musicals instead of me, not enough. You want to come for my dream job? Take it.
He's totally fine about it, though. We're
just fine about it is the thing, gang. I'm just fine about
it.
Yeah,
totally
we've all
fine.
moved on, and I'm fine about it. So
I would like to talk to you about all the musicals that you've written and are writing.
All right.
So the first musical that you wrote that we all heard was written in lockdown with Caroline Kay, who you had never met in person.
I've still barely met her, to be honest.
Really?
I've only met twice.
How did it come about? Did you just like reach out on Instagram or?
Yeah, I had a desire to make some stuff, as I do, and I really admired Caroline. I still do. I haven't lost my admiration for her.
Amazing.
She's amazing, and she's another person who's crafted out a career off her own, off her own drive. And I just respect that in people so much. People who go out and just make stuff happen for themselves. And she's done that so well. I mean, incredibly well. She is sort of, she's full of jet fuel. She just goes and she's brilliant. So I said, I've got this idea. Do you want to, I think we should write a little musical and it's based on this, and here's the kind of vague idea, what do you think? And then she went about writing it. And she is so much more skilled than me as a musician. She would sit here, if she was here, go, no, as we all do, but she is. And we wrote this musical shorts together is the kind of sort of posh
genre.
name I gave it. Yeah. She wanted to call it a mini musical, and I've always been against that. It's a musical shorts, gang. Mini feels very little.
Yes.
Short feels very profound, It's like a short film, But it was we effectively recorded and filmed a live musical during lockdown, edited it, put it all together ourselves. The most we spent on it was for a poster, so for the artwork for it. And we just made this thing, and I still think it's brilliant.
It is brilliant.
I think it's lovely. And I don't think, again, no one will ever quite see. Me and Caroline, just occasionally, every few months, we'll text each other and go, how good are we? That was really good. You see how good that was? We love it. And we know, because we know the nuts and bolts of how it was made. And so for example, there's a duet in it. It was a live duet on FaceTime, a screen recorder from FaceTime. Now, if you've ever tried to sing with someone on FaceTime, as I'm sure you all have, you will know you can't do it.
You can't get in sync.
You're not in
other,
time.
no.
You can't do it. So we had to listen to a track in one ear. I'm trying to remember this now. However it worked, I had one headphone doing one thing, another headphone doing another thing, a screen here, and a screen here, to make this very simple effect of two people singing at the same time on a FaceTime look like a really simple, look normal.
That's amazing.
But that's the frustration. I think the frustration as a theatre person often is how, like I say, when you're working so hard with your voice, my job is to make this look like it's dead easy. And it's not. And you just want people to go, whoa, what you're doing is mad. But our whole job is to make it look really easy.
Yeah. Well, you did with that, though, as well, because that was really impressive. And it really did, it was beautiful. The music was beautiful. I loved the story. I was really invested. I watched it a few times. And then you sort of step away from it and you're like, okay, well, that's done. What do you do? Do you have that drive with your writing that you now have with Stuck, for example, which Stuck is a musical that Dave has written and performed in the West End, a staged, what did you call it? A rehearsed reading? Or
I call it Stuck First Draft.
First draft.
Yeah, draft.
Draft.
Yeah.
Bath, grass, draft.
Thank you.
Got it.
Yeah.
And that was in the West End at the end of last year.
Yeah.
And that is, I hope you don't mind me saying, that there is work sort of being done on that.
Yeah.
Have you always had that drive with your writing, or is there something about this project in particular with Stuck that's sort of kept it going?
No, I just like making stuff. That is always a drive. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun to write a musical? And I tried to look for some collaborators. I'm better at writing than I am at speaking, don't worry. But I was trying to look for someone to work with, and I was trying to look for someone to work with. It's easy to say. I was trying to look for someone to work with, and tried a few different things, and it didn't really work until eventually my friend said, just write it yourself. So I sat down and I wrote Stuck in big letters, and I wrote the whole thing just in caps, just like fired it out. No formatting, spelling mistakes everywhere. It was a mess, but I just wrote the whole thing as quick as I could over a couple of days, and then I've slowly over time gone back and worked it, and it's still being worked on now, and we did work on it today, which would just completely change it again, and I just keep working at it, I suppose, because I love creating stuff. And so the idea, as I did today, of being in a room with other people and saying, what if it was this? And it's like, yeah, I could write that scene. What if he meets his wife in the moment he met her, and she comes back, it's all magic, there's loads of fun stuff going on. And I was like, yeah, I could write that scene. And she'd be like, whoa, you're old. And I was just like, yeah, that'd be fun, I'll do that. And then I was like, what if the dog can talk? It was like things like that. Do you know what I mean? What if they're all like, and I just, all those what ifs, I'm like, oh yeah. So I was just lying there in bed, dead sexy like. And I thought this idea was like, and this is the premise of the thing. It was during lockdown, and I was thinking, how could I do a socially distanced musical and nip into the West End before they properly open again? And I thought, what if it was just me and a load of mannequins? And so I thought, yeah. What if a guy wishes for a day off and accidentally turns his family into mannequins and like the whole world into mannequins? And I was like, yeah. And I just, on my phone, instantly wrote like 100 things that could happen in this story. And that's when I was like, this is a great idea. Because it spills into lots of other roads and ideas. And other ones you go, what if like a guy meets a girl and they kind of chat about, and you go, no, there's nothing there. The ones that kind of just sprout loads of silly ideas, which has led me now to like, should the dog talk?
Yeah, no, I love that though. And the dog should always talk.
The dog should talk.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
In my very
What's the voice of your dog?
Well, I personally have 2 dogs.
Yes.
One of them's
Boo
really
and Radley.
posh. Yes, one of them's really posh and one of them's really Essexy.
For example.
So like Boo, right? She's the girl, but she's sort of she's like a bit like Danny Dyer after a big night out.
Yeah.
Whereas Radley is a little bit more of a distinguished gentleman.
Okay, that's good.
Yes,
Like
and something about him's a little bit Paddington Bear.
Yeah, that's nice.
Do you, when you're, just random question for you, when you're in your house, do you write songs about the day? Do you
My God, constantly.
Yeah. Have you got any?
Yeah.
Yeah, go on then.
Here's one I sing to my kids on the way to school.
Is it the poo one?
It's the fart one.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I did a fart and the whole world popped out. I did a fart and the whole world popped out. Everyone, I did a fart and the whole world popped out. And here are some things that I like to sing about. I farted out some people and some chairs and a desk. It goes on like that. And it on good days it rhymes very well. And then one day, so I was singing this to the kids on the way to school, stop them from arguing really. And one day, Tara got in the car. She's like, where have you heard this song? Because it was rhymed so well. And I was like, I've made it up. She went, no, you haven't. I said, I've made it up. And she didn't believe me for days. I'd make up songs constantly. And funny enough, I then went to like a party one day. I go to parties. It's no big deal, guys. I go to parties and I eat the buffet and try not to speak to anyone. But I was hanging out with...
Exit, goodbye.
yeah. Good night, gang. That's me. But I was hanging out with my kids in the garden, and there were some other kids there who lived in this house. And I started making up a silly song, and you could tell they were like, what is this? What's he doing?
What was the song about? Do you remember?
No. Just whatever was going on.
Yeah.
Oh, Jammy Dodgers.
Yeah.
Put him on my mouth. What was the one I was making? Oh, we're making up. So we've just bought, in case you're interested, Honey Balls is the cereal we've got in our house at the minute. They're called Honey Balls. Mm-hmm. So I was like, dipping my balls in honey, dipping the balls in there. It's just good. These things, this is what happens. So this is my life. But anyway, yeah, these kids, I was like, wow, it's fascinating. I don't feel like I'm pushing being actors and singers or whatever on my kids, but they are surrounded by music, like constant music in our house. What a joyous thing. Mm. I'm glad they are, you know.
Me too. And do they write songs as well?
Yeah.
Have you got any good ones?
I'm not going to the bear house. There's a baby in my tummy. That's Rhys. Rhys done some crackers.
I've seen a video of that.
That's he wrote it and I put some chords to it and I played it at gigs for ages.
Oh, that's why I've
it's
heard it.
So good.
Can you write a song? If people give you some ideas, can you just write a song?
What do you want a song about?
Anyone got a theme for a song or a lyric or just a single word for Dave to write a song about?
Messy masterpiece. It feels like it should be quite somber, this one. I found my paintbrush today. I walked up to my easel and let it run away. My fingertips were flying. the paint was going strong. I knew I'd create my messy masterpiece before too long. Oh, my messy masterpiece, it's standing right before me. My messy masterpiece is a piece of my heart. My messy masterpiece, oh, the days are gone behind me, but this messy piece of art is always in my heart. Don't clap. Don't clap,
God,
messy
it's like
masterpiece.
watching John Mayer.
Have a breakdown.
I just love it.
It was like watching John Mayer having the worst day of his life. It was like watching John Mayer decide music's no longer for him.
Okay, so once again, I've sat here and I've not asked you any of the questions that I was supposed to ask you. I just want to briefly just sort of round up your career in the question that I ask everyone. If you had to pinpoint one moment of your career that was the most surreal, whether that be good, bad, ugly, anything in between, could you do that? I mean, you did the whole superstar thing was pretty surreal.
I think it is that. I think so I'd entered this reality TV show. And we'd filmed a lot of it. We'd kind of done loads of prep behind the scenes, and then we did the first live show, which wasn't actually live. It was kind of they filmed it to test they could do it, I suppose, and then they put it on the telly the night after. So we were sat in the Jesus house with all the other Jesuses. There's loads of us.
What life.
I mean, it's great. Never struggle for a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Shut up, Dave. And we watched the first live show back, and so I got to kind of watch myself on the telly live, weirdly, with all these other people in this amazing house, and it was wonderful. And just be on my phone and see everyone was tweeting me, and then James Corden tweeted me and said everyone follow Dave and vote for Dave, and then all my followers went up, and I felt kind of popular. Yeah,
Superstar must have been quite surreal. I was watching some clips of it over the last couple of days, and also when you did your podcast. You did like a rewatch podcast of it, and that was really fascinating to hear you talk about it with Tim then. But some of the things that you did and some of the people that you were just sort of around, there was just this clip of you like dicking around backstage with Dawn French, and I was that's so cool, man.
Yeah, you're right. It was we normalise these things, don't we?
Exactly, that's what I mean. It's cool. She's an icon.
She's an icon, and one of Mel C was there. I was hanging out with a Spice Girl. I also hang out with Jason Donovan. Should I end on this story? Have we got time for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, great. So I did Superstar, and Jason Donovan was a judge, and he was a judge all the way through all the kind of rounds earlier, the Brixton Academy, and we went to a British Island, and then we went to Mallorca, and then we did the live shows, and we went to the semi-finals. I was the fourth best. Jesus, me and Jason had a thing. He critiqued me every week, and then he came to watch Time Traveler's Wife. Wonderful. And he came up to me in that party, and he went, "Hi, you don't know me, but that was brilliant." And I went,
Can I remind you, Dave, that in that moment I took a photo of the two of you. Yeah. I was with you.
You were?
I've got a photo of that moment on my phone.
Yeah, me like this. For those of you listening at home, looking miffed. No, I wasn't miffed. This is the thing, I wouldn't expect him to remember me, but it was quite funny that I was like,
hilarious.
We did spend several months together, Jason. Thanks for that. But maybe one day you'll be able to not recognise me somewhere in a press night party, Luce.
I really hope so.
Yeah.
Oh, well, no, we've really made it then.
Yeah.
If I've forgotten you, that would be good, wouldn't
it? Yeah. Then you can say I'm truly successful.
That would be a really surreal moment. And on that note, I will wrap this up. Thank you so much, Dave. You are always brilliant to talk to. And actually, this is probably the longest I've sat with you and had a conversation.
Well, I was going to say,
quite some time.
In truth, we have to organise podcasts just to catch up.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Good luck in our chemistry read. Good luck to me too.
Yeah.
It's very awkward.
Yeah.
Don't like him. Honestly, I just think it's so amazing to be able to sit here with you and have these conversations, and then we'll go into an audition room together, and we will still do that like cordial, polite, like hello. Yes, we do know each other. Sort of, we will do that. It's so weird.
It's going to be gross.
It's going to be so weird. We'll have fun though.
We will.
We'll have fun.
We always do.
Thank you for coming and doing this. We've talked nothing about your career, or I wanted to talk about so much stuff. I want to talk about Seussical the musical.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Time Traveler's Wife. I wanted to talk about how, hugely challenging Charlie Price's in Kinky Boots and how you played that for 2 years, man.
So we do it quickly?
Like really, really quickly, because we actually didn't hugely speak about it before I did Alphabet, and then we sort of came together to talk about these, like, the battle of the epic roles against humanity. It's hard. How did you do it? Really, honestly, that's the question. How?
I just had a lot of therapy afterwards. That was it.
Yeah.
It was really, really hard, and it send me to therapy. And in fact, the thing that fixed it was Waitress, because at that point I thought, I don't know if I can ever do this again. I'd broken myself, like physically, vocally, mentally. I'd really I've hurt myself here. I shouldn't have done it for 2 years. And then Waitress. I remember standing at this press call at Waitress, where we were filming bits to show the wider world. And I was doing breathing exercises and meditation-esque things to calm myself down to a point where it's like, Dave, you can do this. It will come out of your mouth and it will be fine. And by the end of Waitress, or even just a few months into Waitress, I was like, oh yeah, I feel great. Healed. Yeah. But I needed it because, like I say, I went into Waitress and I had therapy and I got a nutritionist and I did everything I could because I was like, I just want to be okay. And I wasn't, do you know what I mean? And so to come out of that and be like, yeah, I feel more confident than ever. I found myself in being an idiot with you, I think, on stage.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like I did a lot of healing through that job as well. Yeah. And it's sort of informed who I am now and will do for the rest of my life. So thanks for that, pal.
It's just a shame we can't remember each other.
I know. Who are you again?
And you are?
Thanks for showing up. Don't know who he is. But...
Didn't you write Messy Masterpiece?
What I will say is that just on that last point, it is a career that's full of peaks and troughs, and it's difficult, and it can be magical, and all of the things in between are made much easier for having someone alongside you who's a kindred spirit, and you really are that for me. So thank you, and long live Dave and Luce, the friendship.
Yeah, see you at the chemistry test.
Absolutely. See you there, pal. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Hunter.
Lucie Jones doing a podcast and it's just begun. Lucie Jones needed a theme tune, so I wrote a one. And it goes like this, off script. With Lucie Jones.